is Shaylee. Oh my gosh, we are gonna talk about my first trimester of pregnancy today. I'm just so excited. So if you didn't see my last video, actually 2 videos ago, it was an announcement that we're pregnant. My husband and I sat down at this table and talked about how we're pregnant. He is a shy bird. He hates cameras. I convinced him because it was such a special topic to us. I mean, I've been doing YouTube like 7 years, and I think that's the first video he's ever made with me. So if that tells you anything, but my point in all this is he was so shy. I was feeding off of that energy, and I felt like I didn't even really be myself in that video because I could just sense that he was so uncomfortable. So I really wanted to sit down and do my own thing later and just talk to you more like girl on girl about my symptoms and, you know, cravings I was having, just my whole experience so far. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get started. Okay, so if you are just clicking on today's video because you're newly pregnant or you're trying to get pregnant and you don't know me, like I said, hi, my name is Shay. Thank you so much for hanging out today. This topic is just so exciting and special to me, and it's like obviously new to me, so it just means a lot that I have your support watching this video, and I hope this video helps. So if you are new around here, I struggled to get pregnant. It took my husband and I about 3 years, 3.5 to get pregnant, and I also had to use a fertility drug called Clomid. So I did a video all about symptoms of that. If you're, you know, maybe wanting to learn about that too, I'll link that down below. But just to kind of preface how I was feeling, I want to start out a little bit about that because it definitely affects how you feel. And if this video is all over the place, I am so sorry. There's just so much. With Clomid, the main symptoms that I would say are kind of mirroring pregnancy are bloating and cramps and like moodiness, kind of like those period symptoms. It's all kind of the same in the beginning. So Clomid can kind of make you gain weight. So I had like a little bit of that going on in my stomach anyway. So that brings us to March, okay? I found out I was pregnant March 9th. Let's just take a minute. It's so freaking crazy. So I was 4 weeks and 6 days pregnant. They count your due date really weird. Like I would think they try to figure out like conception day, but they don't. They measure it from the last day of your, no, let me get this right. The first day of your last period. So like I said, I was 4 weeks, 6 days. When you're trying to get pregnant like us, you count all these things, you track it all. So I was technically like 5 days past my missed period. But I've taken so many pregnancy tests and been, you know, sad when I see them negative. So I always try to wait like as long as I possibly can before I take a pregnancy test. But I was feeling so crampy and so just like bloated that I thought there's no way I could be pregnant. But each day just kept going on, and I was like, what the heck, right? So I finally took one. And I didn't think I could be pregnant, guys. I just was like, oh my God, I have the worst cramps. I actually started my Clomid like a day late. There's no way I'm pregnant. It's just not gonna happen for us. Like this is just something I have to go through this process of Clomid to get to the next step. That's literally what I thought. But thank goodness we are so blessed, and like, I'm so grateful. I didn't think I was gonna get emotional this early. I haven't been like super emotional, just so you know, with the hormones, but I just feel like so grateful because I know like so many people struggle. They have, you know, miscarriages, they have to do IVF. Like I just feel like, yes, we struggled, and yes, it was hard. I don't want to deny myself that that happened, you know, like it was so hard and, you know, emotional, but I feel so blessed that we didn't have to do IVF, or that like even it worked. That's a whole other thing. But anyways, so that's how I found out I was pregnant. When you find out you're pregnant, the first thing you do is you like download all the apps and you start watching videos like this, and you hear all these symptoms of what you should be expecting, you know, in the first trimester. So I thought like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have morning sickness, which for some people's all day. I don't know why they call it morning sickness. You're not gonna be able to sleep. You're gonna be peeing 20 times. You can smell everything. You know, you hear all these things. So all of that can totally happen. I have friends right now that are pregnant that are having to wear C-bands and they can't sleep. They're having to take Unisom and all these different things. I just want to start out by saying, again, I feel so freaking lucky and grateful because I had barely any nausea. I have not thrown up once, and I'm past that first trimester. So I think that I'm like good to go, and I'm so grateful for that. So that main symptom you hear about, I didn't personally experience that bad of nausea. So luckily my mom didn't have it, and I followed in her footsteps and was blessed enough to not have it. And I swear it's God saying, you know, Shay, it took you a long time to get pregnant. I'm not gonna have you be throwing up too. So I felt very lucky with that. Like, I was feeling really good. I was just so excited. We booked our appointment to see like our sonogram with our OBGYN for 8 weeks, but then we realized, oh my gosh, we're gonna be going to Mexico for our friend's wedding, so we had to move it to 9, and I was just feeling so impatient. I didn't wanna wait till 9, so we found this private sonogram place where we live, and they got us in at 6 weeks, and we were kind of nervous to go see if we could see the baby, because that's very early. You might not see anything, and of course if you go into get a sonogram and you don't see anything, it can be really scary, but luckily we did, and it was really cool. I had Danny take some video, so I'll insert that here.
But you can see it like flickering.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sometimes so we can see it better than actually hearing it.
We haven't taken video or anything in any other one of our appointments so far, but I had him take it for this one because it was the first one ever, and it was just really exciting. But literally all you see that early is like a little blinking light. We couldn't even hear a heartbeat, nothing. There was like a little sac and a blinking light. That's all we could see, but it was still so exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about food for a minute, and then we'll come back to symptoms. So I'm the kind of person that just craves stuff in general. So when people were like, are you craving anything weird? You know, what are you feeling like? Is there any food aversions you're having? I felt like I had a little bit of all of that, but nothing outlandish, like nothing that I would not normally crave. You know what I mean? It was just more like, yep, that sounds good, and I'm letting myself eat it because I am pregnant. Stuff definitely just sounded really good, and other stuff didn't sound good at all. It wasn't anything, because I've heard of people liking stuff that they've never liked before, or hating stuff that they love. Mine haven't been that extreme. I wrote a little list so I wouldn't forget. I was craving carbs, literally just like, give me the bread, give me the pizza, give me the hamburger with the bun, give me the french fries, like anything carby and like almost like hangover food, like greasy hangover food, like Taco Bell bean burrito, anything like that I was craving. I was also craving sweet things and sour things. So that was kind of weird, because people were like, oh, you're craving sweet, you're having a girl, or you're having a boy. I forget which one's associated with which, but I'm like, no, I'm also craving the other stuff. So I love sour candy. So like Sour Patch Kids, sour Skittles, anything lemony, like lemon heads, or even like lemonade, just like citrusy things was so freaking good. Fruit, I was craving fresh fruit, so that was one healthy thing. I remember when we were in Mexico, when I was like 8 weeks, I kept ordering just like granola and yogurt and fruit, which I still eat for breakfast all the time, or like a plate of fruit. And then, like I said, Taco Bell, In-N-Out, which is a burger place, pizza. Just basically the only thing I remember not really wanting was like meat, unless it was like on the pizza or on the hamburger. But like my husband and I, he's a hunter, so a lot of times we'll have like an actual steak, or like we'll cook up chicken, or he fishes too, so we have a lot of fish, and we'll do like veggies and that with rice. I wasn't unfortunately eating like healthy like that. I was wanting like fast food and carbs in the beginning, which I wish if I could go back, I would try a little bit more to eat a little healthier, because the more research I did and the more learning I've done now and just talking to people, that's when your baby's developing, is like in the first trimester, really a lot of development's going on. So I would probably try to get myself to eat a little bit healthier, but at the same time, I was just so happy, and I was like, whatever, I'm eating what sounds good. Like, the baby wants pizza, the baby's getting pizza. Coffee, they tell you not to drink a bunch of caffeine once you become pregnant. There's a ton of things if you want to Google on what you're not supposed to eat, like high mercury fish, deli meat, unpasteurized cheese, stuff like that. So I've been avoiding all of that for the most part. But coffee, there's mixed opinions, of course. Some people say it doesn't really matter, you can have a couple cups. Some people say you should just avoid caffeine. I've kind of been in the middle, and I've been allowing myself 1 cup of coffee only, which in the beginning, that was one thing that I didn't even really care to have. Like coffee wasn't tasting good, and I love coffee. So that was really weird. I would like pour it out of habit, but then I would notice I would only have literally like a quarter of it or maybe half. So it was really cool once I started feeling like coffee tasted good again, which was kind of toward the end of my first trimester. So other than that, I've been just chugging water. I drink so much water. I drink probably like 5 or 6 of these a day. But yeah, so back to symptoms. Like I said, you know, bloated, cramps. I had a lot of cramps in the beginning, and it was honestly really scary because I kept feeling like, is this my body like cramping and trying to push this pregnancy like out? Like, I don't know if that's even logical, but I just know so many people who have had miscarriages, and when you have a hard time getting pregnant, I think anyone who knows somebody who's gone through that, you're just nervous. Like you want to get to that 12-week point where they say the chances go down, because your mind just goes to these horrible places like, oh, maybe it's too good to be true. Like it's just, I hate talking about this stuff because I feel like this is such a downer thing and it's such a happy thing we're talking about, being pregnant, but it's real, it happens, it's so common. And so that was on my mind a lot. Like it's happened to so-and-so, 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 and so-and-so in my life, why not me? Like I have been around it a lot. So it was really hard to keep that mental balance of like, just cross that bridge if you get there, Shaylee. Like that's something I kept telling myself is like, enjoy it. If that happens, like handle it and you'll get through it, but you're not having that problem today. Like that was a mental thing I kept having to tell myself. Another thing I noticed right in the beginning was like shortness of breath. I cannot breathe very well, which is why it was also crazy that I could smell everything all of a sudden, because normally I don't have that great of breathing and smelling. Yeah, I could smell everything, and I would run out of breath walking up the stairs and talking on the phone. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, I thought this would happen once I had like a baby bump and I had like weight on my body that was extra, that I was like, you know, getting out of breath walking because I was heavier. No, it happened for me very early. Like it was one of the very first symptoms I experienced. Another thing was I have little baby tiny boobs, and all of a sudden they were like sore and huge. They were like growing. Like I probably stopped fitting. I'm honestly still like squeezing into a lot of my bras because I just know I'm gonna grow again, so it's hard to like buy every single size and spend all your money on that. But that was one of the first things, was like I was exhausted, I couldn't really breathe, I could smell everything, and my boobs were getting big. Like, and I was tired. Did I already say that? Yes, I think I did. Another thing, like I said, was the smell. It was so intense, you guys. Like I do lashes for a living. I do lash extensions, and right now it's COVID, so my clients are wearing a mask. I normally wear one anyway, but it's wild because like my client would walk in with her mask on, I'd be wearing mine, and they're laying kind of like in my lap for me to do lashes, and I could smell like what they had for lunch. I remember one of my clients being like, sorry, I ate this for lunch, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know, girl, I know. And it wasn't like it was like bad smell, but I could just smell it, where normally I could never smell what someone ate. Okay, another thing was I was already bloated, like I said, but I didn't realize how soon my clothes wouldn't fit. And it wasn't that they like wouldn't fit, it's just uncomfortable. That's why I didn't want to wear my own clothes. Like I remember, like I mentioned before, we went to Mexico. That was right about 8 weeks for me. And I remember thinking like, what am I gonna wear? My jean shorts are kind of like too tight. And so I was able to find like some of my larger shorts and wear those when we were there. But other than that, I wore just a lot of dresses and flowy stuff because it was already getting uncomfortable. So if you're like me again, don't let it make you feel bad, because I definitely, that was one thing I was like kind of hard on myself right in the beginning. Like, why is stuff already not fitting? Like, I don't even have a bump yet, but it's like everything's tight. And then I just, again, was like, you know what, girl? You're freaking pregnant. Like, you're bloated because stuff is changing down there. Like, that is why. Not that I'm afraid to gain weight, but I just remember thinking like, I don't want people thinking like, oh, you must be like 14 weeks and I'm like 8 weeks along, because I was so bloated, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to like switch out to like stretchier clothes and like have people be noticing, because it was a secret at this point. You guys, I've had one symptom that's not that fun, and I am so beyond embarrassed to talk about it, but I want this video to be helpful. I want it to be real, and I don't want you to feel alone if you're having this happen to you. So if you know me, you know I am not someone that like burps in front of people, really. I don't do the other thing at all in front of people. Like Danny and I have been together 12 years. He's maybe heard me do that like 3 times in our whole relationship. Like, I don't do that. And I think in general, I'm not like really a gassy person anyway, because I just don't have to do that a lot. I don't know. But I will tell you, our fridge just kicked on if you heard something. That has been like happening a ton to me, and I don't even know when it's gonna happen. Like, they just come. So I'm not gonna talk about it longer because I am mortified to even say it and include this in the video, but I just wanna keep it real. That's happening to me. I just have like extra air. Like, I have a little bit of like heartburn, and like I have to burp, and then I have to do other things, and it's not like anything you know, it's just like air. That's it. It's just extra air coming out everywhere, okay? And I'm embarrassed, so we're gonna move on. Okay, so going along with that, I have to pee every 20 minutes, and I'm not kidding you. I have never had to pee more in my life, but I think that's normal because I'm drinking way more water. And I think the hormones make you have to pee, because just like how I said the breathing thing, I thought, you know, having a hard time breathing would come later. Same thing with having to pee. I thought that would happen like when the baby was weighing down on my bladder. No, it happens very early, and I think it has to do with hormones, because I was having to pee in the middle of the night to the point where I had to stop drinking tea before bed, because I would always take a cup of tea up and like read in my bed before bed. I can't do that anymore really, because otherwise I'll be up peeing all night, which I already get up like 2 or 3 times to pee. I think last night I got up 3 different times to pee, and that's with going right before bed and then still throughout the night. So round ligament pain, you can Google it and they'll explain it all perfect, but basically it's like shooting pains like right around your lower stomach. And again, when I started experiencing, remember how I said the cramps were freaking me out? I was getting these shooting pains, and I was like, what are those? Like, is that bad? What was that? It would happen like if I would cough, if I would sneeze, if I would move too fast. It was like when I was moving. It wouldn't typically be like out of nowhere. And I just remember being like, Danny, oh my God, I just felt a really sharp pain. Like, what was that? And it really scared me. It said it wouldn't happen till later. Like, I wanna say it said it wouldn't happen until like 12 or 14 weeks. I started experiencing that way earlier, like probably like 9 or 10 weeks. And I don't know if that's just because I'm kind of petite, I'm a smaller build, so maybe like my body needed to start stretching earlier. I'm not really sure, but once I found out that was normal and like kind of started figuring out what they were, I felt so much better. So I really want to make sure I put that in this video, because those were really scary in the beginning. Lastly, for like symptoms, I would say right toward the end of my first trimester, my sciatic started driving me crazy. Really, really bad. I've had sciatic pain a little bit before. Like I mentioned, I'm a lash artist, so I do sit like hunched over for a good chunk of the day when I work. So like on and off throughout the years, it's kind of bothered me, but I've never had it this continuous. And I think it has to do with this hormone, I think it's called relaxin, that your body's producing when you're pregnant, and it's just making it so your body can start stretching out. And so I think that's affecting it. I've been seeing a chiropractor, and I've never seen a chiropractor in my life. So I think that has been worse for me because I'm pregnant. But the chiropractor is helping, and we got like a little massage gun, and that's really helping. I think eventually I'll make a video on like pregnancy must-haves and like things that I've been using for pregnancy, but honestly there's just not a ton so far, so I kind of want to wait until I'm further along to get that video going for you guys. But yeah, I've been rambling forever, and so I think I've said everything. If I forgot anything, you guys, I will put it in the description box, because so much changes so quickly. Like, and I'm already, you know, partway through my second trimester, so I'm trying to like not include anything else that happened because other stuff starts happening. But I really hope this video was helpful. I hope you're like me and you don't get nauseous if you're pregnant, because like all my friends that are throwing up right now, I feel so terrible for them. But it's all for a good cause. It's all gonna be worth it in the end. And I'm really scared of birth, like I said in our announcement video, but try to just remember that long-term what you're gonna get. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully it was very helpful, and I will see you guys very soon with another video. And I will see you for another pregnancy update when I'm done with my second trimester, which honestly, I don't even know how many weeks that is. I would assume it's at like 20, like late 20s. So I'll see you soon for that. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day.